This is True North Story, the original podcast series. Learn, love, listen, live. Are you ready to discover your True North Story? With your hosts, Tama Fulton and John Hudson Messerol.
Hi, it's Tama. John and I talked this week with Brandon T. Adams. Brandon is a young entrepreneur. He's an inventor, a keynote speaker, a podcaster, a crowdfunding expert, and an author. This young man has got more energy than almost anyone I know, and he is really motivated to talk to you today. We were fortunate enough to nail him down for a 20-minute interview, and he answers lots of great questions and gives amazing advice. If you're looking at crowdfunding for your next project, you're going to want to listen to Brandon T. Adams and his True North Story.
Tell us a little bit about that, Brandon. I mean, what are your thoughts on that when it comes to opportunity?
I am an opportunist. Like, literally, I am the best at jumping on opportunities. Like, I got a call from a girl named Forbes Riley, very successful, and she's like, hey, I have this opportunity to go to this event. I can get you in for free. People paying like $1,500 of the $4,000. You can sit at the table with me and Kevin Harrington and all them. Can you do it? And, I'm bootstrapping. I didn't really know I was going to do it. I'm like, screw it. Yeah, I'm in. So I got a plane ticket. Less than 24 hours later, I was on a plane heading to Florida. Didn't really know. I was with my suitcase and computer, walking around trying to find a place to stay. And I got a place to stay. And, well, that trip led me. This is crazy. This is how opportunities go. Like, I talked with Kevin Harrington, got a good relationship with him. Instead of me asking him questions, he picked my brain about crowdfunding. And then, what do you know, a week later, we do a deal, and we're going to crowdfund a book for him. And then also, Forbes Riley, who's going to do a crowdfunding campaign with me, I got to spend time with her, and more opportunities open. So, like, that decision right there and take an opportunity up led to this. And that's what I'm really good at. So anybody that does something, they need to take these opportunities. And they may not know how they're going to do it, but they'll figure it out along the way. And I'm proof that it's well worth it.
Part of taking advantage of opportunities is once you got to Florida, it was game on, Brandon. It was time for people to know who you were. You had to present yourself in a way that's credible, that's positive, that's energetic. Talk to that a little bit. Is that just you, or is that you passionate about what you do? What is that?
I'm passionate what I do. So everything I do, I mean, when I go in the room, and I have a good friend, her name's Tana Gertz, and she was a runner-up apprentice, and she works with Donald Trump. And she told me she got a reading from somebody, and they said she was a skunk. That was like her, like, animal. She's like, well, that's gross. Like, I smell? No. Like, people know you're coming. Like, you can smell you a mile away. So, like, when you walk in the room, you light the room up. You let the world know you're there. When I walk into a room, I make sure all of them know that I'm there and know what I do for a living. And I make a scene to be sure that they know my business, they know me as a person, they get that connection, they feel the energy from me, and they know exactly what it is I do. So if they ever need me, they'll come to me. And it's game on. Like, I go on these trips, so like, it's business while I'm there, and it's all getting to meet people. Even if I go out, it's networking in business. If you're a real entrepreneur in business, you never shut the light off. You're always looking for opportunities.
Who taught you how to be a networker? Who taught you those skills?
Father taught me just business at a young age. Entrepreneur, had his own business, and I just kind of got into that. I guess I taught myself, It goes back to that book, Think and Grow Rich. That taught me to really go after things that you want and then just got to go do it. But for networking, I knew, and that was one of the things I got out of that book and got out of another class was, it's all who you know. It's all who you know. It's like that golden ticket in the Willy Wonka line. Like, if you know somebody that can get you to the CEO, like, if you know that person, you have that connection, that's your ticket to get to the top instead of waiting in line. It's your budging in line. So I'm always all about, like, gaining relationships with people that are close to the person I want to get to, and eventually getting the person I want to get to. And from there, once you're on top, I mean, you can get whatever you want.
So when you launched the University for Young Entrepreneurs last year, where did that come from? Your vision and your thought process for that, and what do you hope to accomplish?
I'm big in, like, back then, I was really big in, like, I wanted something, I just went after it, and I didn't really know how I was going to do it. I just figured it out along the way. Like, jump off a cliff and put the parachute together as you go down. Like, I knew that I wanted to help other people, and through my experiences with Arctic Stick, I knew how hard entrepreneurship was. I had a bunch of people come to me and they asked me the same questions. Well, what do I do? How do I become an entrepreneur? How do I invent a product? How do I do this and that? And I get tired of going to coffee all the time. And I thought I can just direct people to my podcast show and I can help more people and build an audience. At the time, it was like build an audience for selling Arctic Stick to promote through my own outlet or just promoting my own things because I knew that I had to create an audience. And I just did that. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing along the way, just kind of went with it, learned. I mean, you learn as a person, human being. And I did everything wrong, but all them contacts I made, I mean, every show I have, like now, if somebody asks me about something, I'll just be like, hey, go to episode 34 where we talk about inventing, or go to this episode, whatever. It's just an outlet for me to turn people to and also to help people on a better scale because right now, I mean, I can only do so much. I've like made the commitment now, like after this week, I think I'm just going to turn podcasts down until after my event because this is my third one this week and I have every week I'm doing them. And
you can have the best of Brandon for the next few weeks.
You know, you talk a lot about entrepreneurial. Your advice is really rooted in how to make it and how to get to the top and how to open doors and the importance of networking. So what do you see, you know, and we're going to cater a little bit more to our millennial audience. What do you see as some of the obstacles or hurdles millennials are going to face or are currently facing that you can help them with, that your message or that you inspire to provide them some additional help in maybe navigating?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest thing is showing the ability like self out there, and things are going to change. In our future, no longer is the corporate atmosphere going to work. In our generation, we do our own path, do our own thing. We don't really care about as much of the money. We care about making a difference. We care about creating a tribe, being a part of something big. And I mean, I've seen that more from my generation because I have people reach out to me and offer me to help me all the time. Like literally, I just a while back, I had a girl reach out. She wanted to help me with social media free of charge. She believes in me. Eventually, I mean, she'll be a part of my team. I had a Facebook guy. Like all these people offer, my generation are offering free help. They want to be a part of something big. They want to be a part of something they believe in. They don't just want to make money for the money. They want to be a part of something. So for what I show people is to have success in this generation, in this world, it's not about the money. It's about creating experiences for people. It's about creating a tribe, a group of people that believe in the same thing. And then also it's about establishing yourself on the internet, in social media. I mean, this is why I put everything into my brand. I mean, by 2020, we're going to be hitting 50 billion devices that connect to the internet. We are at an exponential growth where to become a billionaire in my lifetime is not that crazy anymore. A millionaire for what we are capable of, it can happen. I mean, there's a lot of kids that are younger than me, and they're already millionaires because they're understanding this tech world, this social media world. What I would say is establish yourself in the internet, your brand, become known, and start now because 4 or 5 years from now, emphasis, the exponential growth of your impact is going to be insane. I will be able to reach, I mean, the amount of people that people 25 years ago took 25 years to build up to because of the power of internet, because of the power of Snapchat, because of the power of podcasts. So we live in a world of so much opportunity and free stuff. We can use all this, access whatever we want. And that's why I like products anymore, buying experiences. That would be my advice, somebody, my generation, if you want to have success.
That's really powerful.
You remind me so much of, I'm halfway through the book. John's read The Art of the Deal by Donald Trump, and he says, you have to read this.
You know what? You just made my day.
Really?
I remind you of The Art of the Deal book, or who?
Yes. You remind me of The Art of the Deal book.
Didn't Donald Trump write that?
He sure did.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, man, that makes me feel good because, you know what, Donald Trump is, I look up to Donald Trump, and I know there's a lot of controversy there. I've met him twice, and I've spoken on his behalf on caucusing, and again, I told you, Tana Gert, my good friend, is like basically with him all the time now, promoting his events. I think our country needs somebody like him. He has balls, and he does stuff that most people wouldn't think of doing, and most people, you know, here's the thing as a leader. Like, we have to do things that not all are things that people think are right or that we even want to do, but we know we have to do in order to make the biggest impact. I mean, being a leader isn't all that great sometimes. You may be hated. You may love, you may be hated. I have people that don't like me. I don't give a shit. At the end of the day, I know what needs to be done, and that's a true leader, doing what it takes. Instead of somebody that is influenced by money, influenced by other things of power to make their decision. And when you get somebody that is influenced by basically just the fact of making for the better good, now that's something that I love. Money don't mean shit to me, honestly. I don't care. I just care about the beauty of the work that I do, seeing it become awesome. And then for me, for crowdfunding, seeing people have their lives changed by my work. And when you do things and you see progress and you just live in what you do, like that is the beauty of life. It's not about the money. Thank you for that compliment.
Well, I'm glad you considered it a compliment. That's exactly what Donald said back in the 1980s when he wrote that book, was basically he didn't care. Money was just the byproduct. What he enjoyed was building something and seeing the result of that and doing it with as much integrity as he could, on time, under budget, on budget.
It's just a tool. It's a tool to get you from point A to point B to get to the next deal so you can get to the next deal. It's not about like, okay, I got that money. You're right. It's a game. It's let's see who can get to the top and make the biggest impact. And that's how I look at it. Like I am literally everything I do for my time and my money spent, especially as much as I bootstrap right now, I'm thinking about how do I get to the next deal? How do I get to the next level? How can I, you know what I mean? I need to read that book. No, that's how I think real entrepreneurs look at things. They don't look at the money. Obviously, the money is a way to help you expand and grow. But if you're looking at the money as a standpoint of like, hey, then I can go get a car or something like that. Yeah, that's not the right way.
I think, too, the one thing I noticed about Trump, too, if you want to just look at it purely from a business standpoint, it's execution, right?
Execution. That's funny you say that because I just did a show on that, and my show was taking action. Learn to take action towards your goals. The number one thing that most people, they just suck at is taking action. Like they talk about something, but they never actually do it. They never actually move forward. They think about it, they talk about it, and then what they end up doing is coming up with reasons why it won't work, why they don't have the money, why anything. I mean, they'll go story on and on so they can justify their decision of why they didn't do it. Execution, taking action, getting it done, and just doing it. You're going to make a lot of failure in the process, which I do all the time, but you learn from that and you move forward.
Right, and I think that that's a big part of what we're seeing in this current political season is that a lot of people are starting to identify with career politicians fit into the category that you just described, which is they'll figure out why they can't solve problems or why the problems are not solvable instead of coming at it from a standpoint of, okay, this is an issue, we need to deal with it, and we need to put a plan in place to execute against that will solve these problems for the greatest number of people. Tam and I are always looking at messaging. What are people saying? Body language, what are they saying with their words, what are they saying written with their tweets and social media and stuff like that, and what's the bigger picture? And so being able to decipher behind that, and I think that's really important too, is an ability to discern that so that you don't get maybe caught up in something that may be based in truth, potentially. You know what I mean? So you just got to keep yourself aware of your sources and your information and where you're getting it and all of that.
True North Stories, meant to inspire, encourage, motivate, and offer hope. And now, back to the program.
So what are you gonna do when the world don't orbit around you? Ain't it fun? Living in every world. Ain't it good? Being all alone.
So you are an execution guy. Basically. I mean, you want to...
I make decisions, and I don't always know how I'm going to get them done. And I'm not the smartest guy, but I just go to my team, and I empower them to tell them, hey, we can do this. I push them beyond what I think they think is possible. That's what I'm about. I'm about getting shit done, and I don't ever want excuses from people because, I mean, I'll work them all day. I'll go without sleep. I mean, I'll do whatever it takes. And I expect a lot of people. What draws them to me is the fact that they see my passion, my determination, love for what I do. And a lot of them, they want to be on this train because I tell them like, hey, you believe in me, you help me, you add value. I'll take you on the train. I'm going to top. If you want to come on top, jump on my train.
Well, leaders do that too, right? I mean,
leaders do that all the time. I mean, that's a great leader is somebody that can inspire somebody. I'm really seeing it from myself, like from what people do is, you're looking at a politician, a leader in anything. They really inspire and they have a ability to draw people to them and follow them. I mean, that's what I've done towards something bigger and better than me.
That's pretty amazing, Brandon. What was it like growing up in your home with your father as a businessman. My dad, I remember, and this is dating me a little bit, but I remember Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, was
Great book.
something
Great book.
that Dad would quote to me, and he would practice looking in the eye. Look me in the eye, repeat my name, shake my hand, firm handshake. Now let's try it again. What was your growing up like?
Well, I'll tell you what, I didn't have that. I mean, that's a great book, and everybody should read it. And I read a lot of books, and I continue to learn. I'm always learning. I think what I just grew up is, for my mom and dad, I had the greatest parents ever. Like, I had no bad childhood, nothing. I mean, the only lack was my speech impediment as a kid, but I overcame that. But as I grew up in my house, like, my mom was a loving person, so that's where I got my caring aspect. And my dad was like, I mean, he's the kind of guy who cussed. He gets shit done, and he was very motivated to work hard in business. He loved making deals. I saw what it was like for him to do business and just work his ass off. And the one thing that my dad, I guess, never really got that I got now is to think on a bigger scale. But I think he didn't care as much at that time because he had kids. I mean, what I wanted to do is, so my dad said he was going to be a millionaire by 40, he had said. And then he got to the point where he didn't really care anymore. He had us kids, and he made us some great kids. And for me, my goal is to become very successful and then give a lot back to him and say, well, you created something that created you a millionaire, and you created a great kid. But I just learned from him the ethics and kind of as a person how you should bring about yourself. But then when I thought on a bigger scale was after reading Think and Grow Rich, I realized that, okay, I'm not going to just take over my family business and try to become the best in my state or maybe become a millionaire and live a happy life. Like, I'm going to actually like take this shit to the whole new next level and think like, if I wanted to be president, I could be president. If I want to become president, like, it's all mindset, right? So you figure out what you want and you just work your ass off the rest of your life until you get it. That's like anybody. I mean, you can't beat a guy that never gives up. So for me, like, I know what I want now, and I'm just working towards it, and there's nothing that could stop me. I could literally lose everything I own, and I'll still go towards it because I know from the knowledge that I have and all the successful people, the reason why they succeeded is because they never gave up. They, even in times when anybody else would, they never gave up. So for me, I will never give up. Nobody can stop me. The only thing stopping me is a bullet to the head.
Brandon, you mentioned 50 billion devices being connected to the internet and the exponential growth of the internet and connectivity going forward. Could you also mention creating a tribe, which I see as being selfless, okay, which is the collective? What do you think that looks like, being able to create that tribe as more and more people get connected, as that exponentiality grows? What is it that tribe,
what it consists of is like, so here I look at this, like you look at John Lee Dumas, Fire Nation is like very strong tribe, like loyal. I mean, you saw what he did for the crowdfunding campaign. They would do anything for him, but he targeted that specific avatar, that niche. A guy I had on my podcast show, he had like a Facebook group of 1,200 people, but he said like, this is a group, like these are legit, like people that got my back. And he just basically made them feel like they're family, everything else. When he shared that podcast show with them, within a week, I had 5,000 people that had played that show from all over the world. I'm like, dude, is this a joke? What did you do? He's like, I got a pretty loyal pride, and who knows who they shared it with. I guess it's really figuring out exactly who it is you want to target, who is your specific niche. And if you do enough of just being yourself, you will find them. So for me, when I do my shows, I'm literally just being myself. I don't care if other people don't want to listen to me, because at the end of the day, them aren't the people I want to market to. I want to market to people that are like me. So I find people that are exactly like me and things that I would want, and you build up that community of the like-minded individuals. And I think that's the problem that most people have, is they try to capture everyone. They try to market to it's like if you try to market to everyone, you'll get no one.
Yeah, you try and be all things to all people.
So you got to pick your niche. And I guess mine is the young entrepreneurs, the millennials, and specifically either a startup or somebody that has yet to dive right into entrepreneurship or their business, and they're just kind of figuring out what it is they want to do. And they can see somebody like me who not that long ago, was in their shoes, and then still, I'm in the process of building it up. I'm no millionaire yet, so like I'm in the process there, so they can relate to that. People want something they can relate to. I'm building my community.
Right, and see, Brandon, and now we've come full circle back to Trump again. I mean, if
Yep.
you think about it, right? I mean,
He's targeting to his community. He's targeting exactly because
That's
everybody
my
that tries
point.
to please everyone, it doesn't work. But he's specifically targeting his group. And look how it's working. He has the best marketing campaign in the human history. What he did, what he's done, he's got so much publicity and so much free marketing, and it's genius. He's been planning this for years. I mean, I see what he's doing. He's running a business like no other.
whether you love him or hate him, you have to
If
admire
you love
him.
him or hate him, it doesn't matter. You got to give the guy something
Yep.
for what he's doing. It's powerful. A guy had asked me on a podcast show today about branding. It's all about figuring out what you want people to remember you for and then stand out. I guess mine's Brennan T. Adams.
We want people to remember True North story, and you have told a True North story, Brandon. I would say that you have definitely overcome your speech impediment. Look at you. You're speaking, you're podcasting, you're enthusiastic, you're getting attention, and we want to help you get as much attention as possible because I think you have a great message to share.
Well, I appreciate that. You know what? People like us, if we stick together, that's how we reach the biggest goals. Nothing is ever done alone. That's why, like, I guess at the earliest age, to see a speech impediment, like, I saw what it was like to take a physical inability, something that I had wrong with me, and overcome it and make it my biggest strength. If you can do that for yourself, you can really do anything. And you look at Think and Grow Rich. You remember that part where he talks about how he was born was a deaf? He learned, like, he basically came up with a device that allowed him to hear, and then he profited off of it. Anything's possible. That's why I laugh at these people that say they can't do something. A kid today asked me about his crowdfunding campaign, and he sent me a message, and he said, I'm launching my campaign, or I just launched it. Any advice you can give me? I looked at it, and he was screwed. Like, there was no way. And I just told him straight up, man, I'm like, dude, you know, you're best off canceling it and starting over. And your video's too long. Have you built up an audience? 30 to 40% of your total funding goal has got to be raised in the first 48 hours. Do you have people committed already back? And his head started spinning. He just replied back, no, I didn't realize that. I said, well, here's my advice. Cancel your campaign. Go check out my course. It's $295. Check it out. Get that. It'll give you everything you need to know. And take the next 2 months to prepare and launch your campaign. And he said to me, and I laughed, he said, I don't have $300. And, you know, I thought to him, I said to him, I said, how bad do you want it? I said, when I was broke out of college, I had an idea for an invention. I was broke, and I needed money. So what did I do? Within 6 weeks, I gathered 10 grand from family, friends, and fools and put that money to work. And then I worked extra jobs, and I made it happen. And then when I hit a brick wall of 25 grand, I did a crowdfunding campaign to fund the rest. So, like, if somebody ever tells me they can't do something or they don't got the money, I give it to them harsh and say, how bad do you want it? Like, if you want it, you'll figure it out. If you don't, then you'll find an excuse. And his excuse was he didn't have $300, so he must not want it.
That's something to chew on, Brandon.
I mean, it may be harsh, but you know what? I've been there. My dad could have gave me the money, and at that time, I'm like, hey, would you loan me the money? He said, no. If you want it, son, you'll figure it out. And I did. You look at the most successful people, they had nothing. They had nothing. And they figured ways to get to the top. And you become creative, and you figure out ways to get things done for free, bartering. And that's something I live off of. If you want it bad enough, you will get it. And if you don't, you'll make an excuse.
So want it bad, and you did.
Well, yeah. How bad do you want it? And, you know, I want something so bad. And, like, there is sacrifices. I mean, there's sacrifices I made. I've lost loved ones in the process that couldn't handle it. Like, but how bad do you want it? Nothing ever comes free. Everything has a price. Are you willing to pay the price?
You definitely need to think about going into a political career in about 20 years, Brandon.
Yeah, I know. I thought about doing that sometime, but we'll see. I got a lot to do yet.
That's right. Well, when you're ready to,
There you go.
when you're
you
ready,
have plenty of time.
where can we find Brandon T. Adams?
I have BrandonTAdams.com.
Thank you so much, Brandon. We appreciate your time.
I just got on a roll. Yeah.
Thank you for listening to True North Story, the series. Follow us on Twitter @True North Story and tune in next time for another True North Story.